afternoon, everybody. Everybody can have their seats, and for those of you in the back, thank you for surrounding us for a great day, great announcement. We're going to play a video before we get the program started. You ready for that? Okay.
May we together, each one of us, consider the other and how we may use our lives to multiply in theirs. That's what Tennesseans do and have been doing for generations. That's why we are America at its best. That is why Tennessee is leading the nation.
Good afternoon. I'm Stuart McWhorter, and I'm the Commissioner of the Department of Economic Development and today's game show host. So we're really excited about this day. There is a lot of excitement in the state, certainly a lot of excitement in Oak Ridge for yet another milestone announcement. We were here a year ago, I think, to the day, announcing a milestone project right here in this great community of Oak Ridge, and it's just an honor to be back. I'm going to introduce our first speaker here in just a second, who happens to be my boss and a friend of mine, but Governor Lee has been just a great leader for our state, great governor for our state, has been doing a lot of things to invest in infrastructure and education, workforce, but has been a champion of our department and the work that we do in economic development, and one of which industries and areas that his focus has been is in nuclear. And I think most of you in this room know why. But just before I talk about that, just so you all know, in the 6.5 years that he has served as governor, we've announced out of our department over 100,000 net new jobs across the state and $45 billion of CapEx, which is amazing. But his passion and interest in nuclear has also been remarkable. We have invested since the Nuclear Energy Fund was created in 2023. We have announced projects that have accumulated over 1,500 net new jobs and close to $6.5 billion of capital investment just in nuclear. Even remarkable is what's in the pipeline right now. We have over $10 billion of capital investment projects that we're working on right now, and almost 2,000 net new jobs. I mean, Tennessee's on the map, not just across the country, but across the world because of Governor Lee, and we're just so thankful. I could keep on about it, but y'all aren't here to hear me speak, and so with that, Governor, will you please come up to the stage?
Head of Oklo and I were just speaking about why this is such an important day for Oak Ridge, but why this is such an important day also for Tennessee, but more importantly for the country. Because what's happening here is not just about Tennessee. This is about a new nuclear industry that is crucial for the development and the continued future of this country. We all know how important it is that we develop a grid that is prepared for the future. and new nuclear and the ecosystem around nuclear energy is a part of the answer for that future. So it is a very exciting day for me today to be here. When we decided to create the Nuclear Fund and the Nuclear Advisory Council, and I went to Lieutenant Governor McNally and to Senator Yeager and to leadership in the General Assembly and said, could we put this in our budget? The overwhelming and quick response was yes. So thank you to your leadership, both of you in particular, for not only representing this district, but for what happens in the General Assembly and the partnership with us to put Tennessee in a leadership position in America. Senator Blackburn and Senator Haggerty, there are no two better senators, U.S. senators in the country than we have in the state of Tennessee. And I say that just and I don't say that to flatter them or what would typically be expected, but they're working together. Senator Blackburn, her desire to work together with our office on behalf of the people of Tennessee, understanding of the issues and the ability to work together to make sure that these kinds of announcements happen in the state of Tennessee, it would not be happening if it were not for their leadership at the federal level. And by the way, we're honored to have here. My conversations with the Secretary of Energy along the way about how important this is for Tennessee and how important it is for America it's been crucial. The partnership that we have has been absolutely great, and it culminates in moments like this. Chuck Fleischman, thank you, sir. You have been talking about nuclear energy. You've been talking about nuclear energy to me since the day I walked in this office, and I suspect you'll keep talking about it the day after I leave. But it's because of your fierce advocacy for this that is happening. I'm a little bit of an engineer nerd, and when I get around an industry like the nuclear industry, and I recognize how crucial it is to the future of this country, I get really excited. And you're going to hear from all in a moment. But finally, what I say is to the people of Oak Ridge, you have created an environment. The legacy of Oak Ridge, from the Manhattan Project through exactly what's happening here today, and all that's happened from those days to these days, have created an environment that is attractive to the wealth of companies that have looked at Tennessee now and said, I think that's where I want to be. To those in this community who have shown leadership for an announcement like this, what you are creating, what is happening here, is the global epicenter of the new nuclear revolution. That's what's happening in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, and I couldn't be more excited to be a part of the announcement. Oklo's $2 billion investment in production of nuclear reactors and in the recycling of creation of components and recycling of fuel. $2 billion investment and almost 800 eventual jobs right here in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Thank you.
For those of you that are coming up on stage, steps are high, so get ready. Thank you, Governor. I know the Governor recognized Jake Witt, CEO of Oklo, and so Jake, won't you come on up and make your remarks, please, sir? Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you all for having me here. I'm a bit of a history buff when it comes comes to nuclear history, having grown up in one of the sister states to this great state that helped us win World War II in New Mexico. And so it's pretty cool to be here where what happened, 80 years ago helped us win that war. And what those intellectual giants who gathered at that time got together and envisioned for kind of the future of nuclear power is really what we're unlocking with what we're announcing today. The vision that people like Enrico Fermi and some of those folks had was not just on building reactors to use fuel once, but rather realize the potential of actually harnessing all the energy that the atom has, not just the 5% that reactors can use in one pass. But to do that, you need recycling. And that's why I'm very excited to be here today alongside Governor Lee, alongside Senator Blackburn, Senator Hagerty, Congressman Fleischman, local leaders and our partners, and many folks from the Oklo team actually, to announce the nation's first privately funded nuclear fuel recycling center. That's right, that's the first privately funded one. It's really exciting because we're in a world where this can actually happen and work in a way that we've never seen before, because the great thing about nuclear is physics are on our side, right? Literally, splitting an atom produces about 50 million times more energy than burning a molecule of gas. That's insane. So an awesome place to be and an awesome technical platform to be building on. But realizing that fully to its full potential and building effectively a new global energy capital, a hub here, is centered around what you can do with recycling and advanced reactors that we're working on. So we'll be building that facility right here in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. It's the first phase of our Advanced Fuel Center, a complex that's going to do a number of things for us. Recycling is a cornerstone, but it has the potential and capability for infrastructure that will grow into for broader fabrication capabilities to support not just other national missions, but also the ability to build more reactors more quickly across the country. We're excited that we'll be investing about $1.7 billion into building that facility and at scale creating 800 jobs. And the cool thing is, when you talk about what we're doing here, we're talking about unlocking energy that is an equivalent size to basically global oil reserves. So what I mean by that is when you look at all the used fuel that we have in this country, what we'll be doing here will allow us to tap into effectively 1.2 to 1.3 trillion barrels of barrels of oil equivalent of energy. That's an insane number. That's like global oil reserves, and it'll be here in East Tennessee. And those jobs are obviously changing the future of energy, not just for America, but for the whole world. So this is a huge opportunity, not just from the mission side, but the impact side. President Trump's nuclear executive orders earlier this year did set a new course for American energy. What we can do in terms of bringing in recycling to reflect what he did by bringing forward modernizing regulations, streamlining testing, deploying reactors more quickly, setting up the nuclear base and unlocking the potential to recycle opens the door to radically change really the energy profile in America. Nuclear has done a great job being a workhorse for generation in this country. But now, dating back with President Biden, now to President Trump, they've set ambitious and escalating goals of building hundreds of gigawatts of new nuclear power. To do that, we have to change how we think about the fuel ecosystem, and that's a key thing recycling can do. And the other great thing about it is it will help us reduce costs. Not just costs for us, but costs to energy ratepayers. Because when you recycle, you can actually reduce the cost of fuel. Now, nuclear fuel costs aren't the biggest thing, but when you think about how you can scale that forward and unlock this energy at a 20x multiple of what we do or more, that radically changes the equation. And that just means we're going to have more abundant, clean, and more affordable energy that's also really reliable. It's a great thing. And this is going to be the capital for where that happens. It's a really big deal. And frankly, most people don't fully understand this, but they're going to, especially as we continue to tell the story and we execute into it. So why it matters? Because fuel is the key to unlocking advanced nuclear. We have great designs as an industry. We have incredible minds at work. We have all sorts of innovation going forward. But the challenge is mostly tied up in fuel supplies for a lot of reasons. It's ironic to say that standing here, where we built out the enrichment capacity to win us World War II and then carry us forward into the dawn of the atomic age. However, we lost that capacity as a country. We let that go away for a number of reasons. But we're going to bring it back in a better way than we've ever had before, because not only is it built on enrichment, which we have exciting partners who are here already on that front, but also recycling. and the ability to turn weapons, like legacy weapons material, into fuel that our reactors and some others can use. It's a massive opportunity to change what has been the biggest bottleneck to deploying advanced nuclear. And I don't mean just getting 1 or 2 plants built. I mean unlocking the ability to build gigawatts of new nuclear capacity by the end of the decade. That's possible with all the things that we're going to be doing here and the work going on in this broader ecosystem. By recycling used nuclear fuel at scale, we are literally taking something that has been sitting on the sidelines for decades. It did a good job, but it's like playing football as a former football player. It's like only playing for the first, frankly, 3 minutes of a game and stopping. That doesn't work very well. Instead, we're going to get it in and let it play its whole game, right? Because recycling allows us to get nearly 100% of the energy content out, not just that 5%. And we're putting it to work. We're going to turn waste into watts. We're going to help cut costs, not just for what we're doing, but for what others are doing as well. And ultimately, that should translate to more abundant, more affordable power. And that also allows us to build a secure U.S. supply chain around nuclear fuel that has never existed before. It doesn't rely on imported or mined uranium and enrichment capacity in other places. Yes, we're bringing that in the country, that's great, but when you recycle, you extend that reserve, you extend that by 20 to 100 times. That's massive, and that means uranium that we can mine, that we can pull out. Well, guess what? We don't really need to do too much of that with the inventories we have of fuel. Eventually, we'll get more into that as we scale, but at the end of the day, recycling allows us to turn all of that sort of stranded resource, more or less a stranded asset, that's waste today, into something we can actually make a lot of clean power with. And this isn't just about Oklo, it's about Tennessee leading the way. Oak Ridge is showing the country that you can do things like this, that you can bring in solutions and management on the used fuel side, on the back end, couple it with actually front end, and doing it in a way that's driven by the private sector, that's commercially driven. We stand on the shoulders of the and the government investments that have been made for decades past, but the commercial, like the private commercial enterprises like us are actually taking this forward to market to bring to bear. I also want to thank our board of directors who are here for us today and the people that brought us and have made Oklo what it is. We have 3 members who traveled here today, Michael Thompson, John Jansen, and Dan Poneman. Their presence reflects the confidence that our entire board, that our company has in what we're doing here and in the future of nuclear recycling. And many of you probably know Dan Poneman. As Deputy Secretary of Energy under President Obama, Dan spent decades working at the highest levels in government around nuclear technology. And he spent time then after that in the private sector with a pretty significant presence. In fact, the very first time I ever came to this part of the country was 5.5 years ago with Dan to Centris facility. So excited to be back here today announcing that. I also want to highlight some of our team. Alex Renner is here with us today. She grew up right here in Oak Ridge, and she was one of our very first hires. And now she's our Chief Product Officer, which says a lot about the talent in this community. For me, it's powerful to think that someone who grew up surrounded by this ecosystem and by the history of nuclear technology here basically been able to help build and write the next chapter of it. And we're excited to bring a lot of that back close to home for her to stimulate new leaders and new thought leaders to come forward so they can stay near here, they can grow up near here, they can learn and train near here, and they can help lead the future here. Also, Ed Petit-Demange, who is here, who leads our recycling business, is making sure the center delivers on its promise. And Bill Goodwin, who's there in the front, who really worked hand in hand with the state and the team to make this happen and to bring this deal together. So thank you to the Oklo team who's here and all the work that you've done to get here. Now that's just the very beginning. It's not even like in the game yet. It's kind of like the pre-game warm-up here. So a lot more to come, but I appreciate everyone here who's here today from the Oklo team. We actually have a pretty decent presence in Tennessee, which is pretty great, and we're obviously going to have a lot more of a presence, which is awesome. And then, of course, I want to have a big thank you to the Tennessee Department of Economic and Community Development. Commissioner McWhorter and the whole TNECD team, as well as Mike McGill and the Oak Ridge Corridor team, you've been incredible partners. I remember a few months ago at Congressman Fleischman's Nuclear Waste Caucus, I spoke at a panel there, and a few of y'all came up to me and talked to me when this was still a very, very early stage kind of concept and idea. Look how fast it's moved to progression in less than 6 months, right? That's huge, and that's a testament to how well you guys have worked with us. And I'm not saying this just because I'm in Tennessee. We're doing this here because you guys have been better than everyone else. We talked to a number of states, and Tennessee was head and shoulders above everyone else. That's a testament to the team and your guys' commitment to what you want to do in this state. So, this center is about solving a national challenge and creating local opportunity. It's about building literally a new energy hub at a global scale. We're very excited to be here today with you guys, but we're much more excited about what's to come, and we're very excited about having you guys back here as we break ground, as we build this facility, and as we commission it, turn it on, and start making fuel to unlock actually the real potential that the atom has in changing how we as humans live and interact with energy. So thank you all. We're very excited to be here.
Thank you, Jake. And just to echo his comments and the team, the Oklo team, Bill and Ed and Adrian, I know there were so many others, but they're just a really good group of people to work with. They pushed us, but we pushed back, I think. We pushed back, okay. But we're excited. You know, this is obviously a very exciting project for our state. So our next speaker, Governor referenced our senator, both senators, but Senator Marsha Blackburn. She again has been just a phenomenal partner to our department, to the state. Clearly wouldn't be where we wouldn't with all the great projects without her support. So Senator Blackburn, would you please come to the stage?
There you go. I am absolutely thrilled to be here today. Add my congratulations to Oklo and my thanks to the governor and to Commissioner McWhorter for their vision and the way they have approached building a new industrial sector here in our state. And I look at this, what we are seeing take place as a rebirth and truly a way to bring science and the nuclear projects right here in Oak Ridge. Jake mentioned the executive orders that President Trump has exercised, and these have been very helpful to us. We've looked at a couple of different things and have brought attention to how we build a nuclear power force, how we build that generation, how we spur it, how we incent it, and how we get it moving as quickly as is possible. The other thing is, as we look at generating power through nuclear, how we're going to build that fuel supply chain. And what Oklo is doing is a very important part of this, the recycling of that fuel, pulling a little bit more energy out of that fuel. And what this will do is we look at SMRs, as we look at microreactors, as there's work on fusion and fission, as we look at what is needed for the industrial sector, for home use, what is needed for our military, then what we are doing is creating that energy sector. Tennessee should indeed be number one in innovating how we generate electric power. And indeed, what we see happening here is something that is going to be a good foundation for that, because you're going to bring together companies that are going to be working on every single portion of electric power generation and distribution. I also think that this is perfectly placed because of the great work that is being done by our outstanding universities. And I know we've got President Boyd here with us from UT, and we have thrilled with the work they're doing that is tying into Oak Ridge, the good work there, and the projects they have that are going to help fuel hypersonics and other components for Space Force and for our U.S. military. So this is another big win. It is another portion of building that hub, as Jake said, that is going to be essential. So thank you all for being here today. And Governor, thank you for starting that nuclear task force and opening another industrial sector. Thanks.
Thank you, Senator. So it's also great to have our other awesome senator here with us, one that knows a little bit about what we do in our department. Was one of my predecessors, along with Randy Boyd. In fact, some of what we do today is because of this next speaker. I think, some of this is a little bit of the lagging results of the hard work that was done. But with that, it is my honor to introduce Senator Hagerty.
Stuart, thank you, and thanks for the tremendous job you're doing for our state. You and your team have been just a tremendous asset for Tennessee. Jake, you said it. Tennessee is head and shoulders above every other state. There's a reason, and it's great leadership. And it's been highlighted today with the leadership of our governor, his cabinet, our legislature, certainly Senator Blackburn and I working hard with Congressman Fleischman. It's made a heck of a difference about positioning Tennessee in a way that no other state can compete. And competition is what I wanted to talk to you about today, because we're in a global competition right now. We have to innovate to stay ahead. I talked with President Trump about this even before his election. This is no longer about energy independence for America. This is about dominance in a sector that is absolutely critical to our national security. And I explained to President Trump then, Tennessee can be the epicenter, just as you described it, Jake. It's the technologies that are coming to bear, just like the one we're celebrating today. Oklo is a critical part of a mosaic, of an ecosystem that's going to come together to make certain that not only Tennessee, but the United States of America stands at the forefront of the most critical innovation in energy that must happen here in America. It's got to happen here in America, because if you think about the technologies that will be supported from this, whether it's AI and quantum computing, or many, many more things, we're going to need energy. Think about the billions of dollars of capital investment that have been committed just in the past 6 months to America. How are we going to support that? How are we going to provide the necessary energy? This is part of the answer today. So my hat's off to the team that's helped deliver this. I could not be more proud of my home state of Tennessee than I am today. Congratulations to everyone here in the community locally. You should be very, very proud about this announcement.
Thank you, Senator. Next speaker is one that represents the 3rd Congressional District of our state, but I will just say that the governor made these comments earlier, but Chuck Fleischman has been an incredible partner with our department, particularly not only with this project really, but a lot of the things that are happening in nuclear and beyond, quite frankly, and just very, very grateful for his support, his friendship, and his leadership for our state. And with that, Congressman Fleischman.
Stuart, thank you very much. Governors, senators, distinguished guests. I've got some additional good news to report. Right before I stepped on the plane to come back to our great state of Tennessee to visit with our great Oklo friends, we passed on the floor of the United States House the Energy and Water Appropriations Bill for fiscal 2026. And that bill, which I wrote in the same vein as we did in 2024 and passed that, which freed up funds for nuclear reprocessing, nuclear fuel, nuclear workforce, which was passed into law and which our great state is in great competition to win, is in that same vein. So I look forward to conferencing that with our friends in the United States Senate. Couple of things. When you speak about 3rd, 4th, or 5th down in the line, it's kind of like baseball. Most of you know I'm a baseball player. You've kind of seen and heard what everyone has had to say. But Governor, I want to thank you. You thank me, sir. Thank you for taking the time to listen to a member of Congress who knew we had a great gem right here in Oak Ridge. Sir, without your work, we would not be here today. So thank you so much. Our senators are incredible. Our local leaders are incredible. Stuart McWhorter, thank you so much. You've been my partner on so many of these deals. But the reality is we've got great state, local, and federal leadership. That's true. But something we can't overlook, and I cherish this so much every day. Every member of Congress gets a hand. They get about 800,000 constituents. Well, think about it. I see Dan Poneman, my good friend, Deputy Secretary, still a good friend, and you continue to pick winners with Oklo, and you're at Centrist before us. I appreciate that so much, my dear friend. But the reality is, we have right here the Oak Ridge Laboratory, the Y12 facility, and we're building the uranium processing facility right here. The best legacy cleanup done in the United States. The reason people keep coming to Oak Ridge, the great state of Tennessee, is because of the job that you all are doing. I mean, I used to play poker before I gave up gambling and a lot of other things, but the reality is you've given me such a good hand to play with, and I so appreciate that. And let me say this, we need TVA. We need a good, strong public TVA, because without this, a lot of my nuclear initiatives would not come into fruition. So Don, we're going to be with you all, we're going to stay with you all, get you through these times, and continue to move ourselves forward. I know my time is short, and I want to say this. In Congress right now, it is a very partisan, polarized situation. Dan knows this very well. Whether we had a Democratic or Republican president, I would invite cabinet members, secretaries of energy in and say, work with me. We're going to have differences. Sometimes we even have differences within our own party. But the reality is we are getting so many things done. I chair 8 nuclear caucuses. The most recent one is the American Dominance in Energy Caucus. But the reality is we get people together in rooms sometimes and close doors and work together and do great things as Americans. That is so critically important to us. But Tennessee continues to win. To Oklo, I want to say thank you for choosing Tennessee. You could choose anywhere else in the nation, but you have chosen a winner. You are a winner, and we look forward to working with you as we take spent nuclear fuel and make it the great asset that it really is for the nuclear industry. Thank you.
So it's been mentioned, the relationships that we have, but I would be remiss, I know the governor mentioned this too, about recognizing our state legislative leaders that are here. We got a few that are here, and again, Governor referenced this, without their support of what we do and the ability to invest in these types of companies to incentivize them, we wouldn't be able to do it without their support. And with that, I'd like to ask Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally, Senator Ken Yeager, and Representative Rick Scarborough to please come up.
Thank you, Commissioner. It's really great to have Oklo come into Oak Ridge, and it's especially great to be able to thank Governor Lee and yourself, always down behind the screen, for what you've done, and certainly Randy Boyd and Bill Haggerty for the groundwork that they set. And we've got 4 aces, Trump, Blackburn, Haggerty, and Chuck Flashman. And you couldn't beat that team if you tried, if you had all of Congress there. But I'm very happy to work with them, and they're always very responsive. But thank you all. It's a pleasure being here. It's a special pleasure since I got a C- in college physics. So, thank you all.
Thank you for letting me come and join the community to this course to welcome Oklo here and the innovation that this global leader is going to bring to Roane County and Oak Ridge. It's an exciting day for us as the march towards energy leadership in this nation moves toward with Tennessee and in Tennessee. And this announcement is just one of many, as the Commissioner has already mentioned. More are to come, and it is because of the leadership of the people in this room. You know, Oak Ridge and Roane County and the region are welcoming communities. We support nuclear energy. We wanted to come here because we know it's important to achieve our national defense goals, to improve our economy. We know that, and we support it in this region, so we're glad you're here. I'm also happy to say that I'm so pleased with the groundbreaking technology that they're going to be doing here with the used nuclear fuel recycling. That is incredible in technology. Will not only assist Oklo, but other companies that have reactors. And it will bring more attention and move the momentum even further and greater for Tennessee as we march toward complete leadership in the energy industry in this nation. You know, this announcement we talked about, a little less than $2 billion, I believe about $1.7 billion. It's going to create 800 jobs in Tennessee. That is so very significant. But what it does do, it helps contribute to our momentum to make Tennessee the innovation hub, the nuclear energy hub of this nation. We're not becoming the hub in this nation. Tennessee is the nuclear energy hub in the United States of America. And it's all because of the people in this room, and I'd have to say the people on this row right here. I work with all of these folks in my capacity in local government and now state government. And my friends, we are blessed with some of the finest leadership we could ever expect in the federal government, and our two very fine senators and our congressmen, and the Tennessee Valley Authority. We are a team for Tennessee, aren't we? All of us are for Tennessee. And Governor Lee, we've seen 1,600 jobs created since he announced his vision in 2023 to have a nuclear energy fund. We've seen 1,600 jobs, billions of dollars investment, and that's because of your leadership, sir, and your vision. And it's already been said, but it ought to be said again, sir. We appreciate your leadership and your vision for what you've done to Tennessee. And there are generations that are not even born yet that will benefit what you are doing, not just from the energy standpoint, but from economics too. Thank you very much, Governor Bill Lee. We talked a little about industry, just one more thing, and I think my 2 minutes ended about 4 minutes ago. I'm so glad we have Oklo here, and its education partners. Have to talk about education. We got the University of Tennessee, Tennessee Tech, Roane State Community College, all doing innovating programs designed to complement what we're doing in this industry. So we're grateful for that. That partnership that will keep the momentum moving as we march into the future of this state and build on and keep our dominance where we will be using American-made energy. Thank you.
Congressman Fly, to use a baseball term, you know, you're 5 or 6 slots down the batting order. I'm in the doggone dugout right now, so I'm going to keep it. I'll be brief. Jake, thank you for choosing Tennessee. Thank you. These things just do not happen. These events don't happen without some great leadership. And Governor Lee, thank you for being intentional in bringing these opportunities to Oak Ridge and Roane County, Anderson County. Thank you very much. We're having a good time here having these parties for you. Thank you very much. Now, right now, I think it goes with saying, Commissioner Berry, Ron Berry's in the room. Ron talked about earlier today when I was visiting with him, the continuity we have right now with the local leadership, all the way from our state and federal leaders as well, has been second to none. We've got a great opportunity here. Again, and then go along with that, again, President Boyd's here, Stephen Stryfer from the laboratories here, Chris from Roane State, he's in the room as well. We've got some great educational opportunities there. When it comes to that kind of synergy, it's time to strike with irons hot. Again, Jake, welcome to Tennessee, and thank you for coming.
Thank you, gentlemen. So now it's certainly an honor to have our next guest here from DC, the Commissioner of the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. Please welcome Commissioner Bradley Kroll.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bradley Kroll. I'm a commissioner at the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission, and I'm very excited to be here today. I think by the time I realized I should have put a tie on, it was too late, so I apologize for being a little casual. And I don't know if I'm batting cleanup or where I am in the lineup. I'm happy to be on the team, but treat me as a pinch hitter today, because you don't normally see nuclear regulatory commissioners at events like these, and you certainly don't see them on the front end of a project. But the reason I'm here today is because I'm just excited about the vision that Oklo has. I've been on the commission for about 3 years. Sometime during that first year when I met with Jacob and Caroline and the rest of the Oklo team, and they talked to me about the vision that Oklo had, I said, well, that's exactly why I wanted to be on the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, to see things like that come to fruition, where we're addressing the front end, the back end of our fuel cycle, the front end of our fuel cycle, the generation of power. And so as we look towards a nuclear renaissance or revolution, the types of things, the vision that Oklo has is the one we want to pursue. And that's not to prejudge the NRC's work on the licensing and regulatory efforts here, but it's a new day at the NRC, and we have a new mandate for a whole variety of reasons. It's one of the few bipartisan issues out there, and we're getting lots of attention from all players to really be enablers for the nuclear, the nuclear renaissance. And we can do that, and we can enable it in a way that preserves the safety and security of nuclear that the public depends on. So that is why, as an NRC commissioner, I want to be here and just let you know that we're in a position to be work as partners with you and your team at Oklo. You couldn't do it at a better place than Tennessee. Deep experience, great federal support, obviously, and I look forward to engaging with all of you and the Oklo team as we go through the licensing process, and I hope you'll invite me back when the project is complete. So thank you very much, and thank you all for being here.
We talked about this as well. I know he's about to come up here, but our partnership with the local leadership is extraordinary, and really, in these particular cases, we lean heavily on you all and those that you elect to represent you. And it's certainly really fun to get to know our next speaker, and I'd like to introduce him next is the Roane County Executive, Wade Creswell.
When you're this deep in order, pretty much everything has been said already, but there are a few things I just want to highlight. First of all, I have to say this, Jake and your team at Oklo, welcome. Thank you for choosing Roane County, Oak Ridge in Tennessee. This is where you belong. It's the most nuclear-friendly community in the United States of America, and we're going to prove it to you every day. God has blessed this community in incredible ways, and now we are so thankful that you are a part of it. Secondly, I have to mention this. We literally are not standing on this site today without a decades-long of commitment and investment by the DOE Office of Environmental Management in Oak Ridge and their contractor UCOR. Literally, this site, the K-25 Interpretive Center, it opened 2 weeks ago. So welcome to the K-25 Interpretive Center and the Historical Center right here, managed by our partners at the American Museum of Science and Energy, who helped put this event together today. Please give them a hand for the work that they did. But especially thank you to our environmental management partners for a cleanup today for a nuclear tomorrow. And finally, I'll say our secret sauce, as has been said by our fantastic partners from the governor's leadership, the commissioner, our federal congressional delegation, and our local partners at the city level, and even Mayor Frank, who's such an important part of our Oak Ridge Corridor team and everybody that makes that up. Our secret sauce is our unity. We cannot be here, we would not be here today if we hadn't decided years ago to pull together and then choose nuclear as our identity and pull in that direction. We can't ever take that for granted, and I'm committed here to make sure that we don't, at least from the Roane County side. This also represents, Jake, the largest jobs announcement in Roane County history, so we can't thank Oklo enough for that. Welcome and congratulations.
It literally is like a baseball lineup here in the batting order. TVA, they've been mentioned, great partner. None of this would be possible without TVA and their partnership, and we're really very appreciative of that. And with that, I'd like to ask TVA President CEO Don Wall to come up to the podium.
Well, in baseball vernacular, I'd probably be the pitcher, but I'm hoping I'm a designated hitter at the end of the order here. So thank you all for inviting me, and I'm so proud to be here representing the people of TVA today. I'm even more proud of the partnerships and this incredible lineup in the front row, as has been said so many times today. State and local officials, Oak Ridge Electric, and the federal leaders and the state leaders that are in this front row. None of this happens without, well, we'll call it a baseball team, but a team effort that brings this across the finish line. Congratulations to Oklo for making this investment that moves U.S. nuclear industry forward in multiple ways, not only from the nuclear supply side, but also in the fuel recycling side. This project further builds American nuclear infrastructure and innovation, which are areas where the state of Tennessee and TVA are already national leaders. Oklo's announcement today is more than just $2 billion and 800 jobs, which is impressive enough as it is. It's an extension of the mission of service that we have at TVA that feeds into the state of Tennessee, prioritizes attracting large economic development opportunities like this. It's an extension of our mission of service of advancing and powering future technologies that are so critical to American energy security, and it's our partnerships supporting a build-out that grows a hub of U.S. new nuclear leadership here in the state of Tennessee. Leveraging our nation-leading partnerships, expertise, and experience here in Oak Ridge, East Tennessee, and the Tennessee Valley, we are charting the course for the country's next 100 years of power generation and nuclear innovation. Our goal is to commercialize these new nuclear technologies as fast as possible. And when we build things that last 80 to 100 years and transform our energy infrastructure, line up with the administration's energy dominance goals, TVA is so proud to be part of this partnership and so proud to be part of powering this innovation in the state of Tennessee today. Thank you.
Thanks, Don. So we're at the end of this. Good news is you can't go outside. I don't think you want to go outside. So just a couple remarks I'll make to close. A few people I want to thank, besides those that we have thanked today, but on my team, Alan Borden, who worked so hard he decided to take a vacation this week. Callie Cook, who was our lead on this, she got so tired of doing it, she decided to have a baby. So congratulations, she had her child, her first, yesterday. Jamie Stitt, Braden Stover, Lenny Baronis, on my team. Also special thanks to TVA, John Bradley, Heidi Smith, Adam Murray, and a special shout out to Meryl Harris. She was the point on this project and worked extremely hard as well. Mike McGill in the back. Mike, thank you for all the work that you and your team did, the Oak Ridge Corridor Development Corporation. Thank you. We were on the phone with Mike pretty much every day for about a month, and he really helped out a lot. I know this has been said, but our university partners, we need the workforce, and you guys are leading the way, particularly in nuclear, and thank you all, Nuclear Energy Council, and our agency partners, TDOT, TDEC, it hadn't really been said, particularly with TDOT, but TDOT's really going to step up and help out with some of the roads and some of the infrastructure here. We're really appreciative of them stepping into this. I also want to recognize on the governor's team, Michael Hendricks. Michael was very helpful, quietly behind the scenes, did a fantastic job helping out. He normally doesn't do that, but he really stepped in, and Michael, thank you for what you did there. On my team locally, Gary Human, Michelle and Crystal, thank you guys for all the work that you do. Thank you. And then last but not least, certainly, Jake, your team, great getting to know you guys, all of you. You've been just a pleasure to work with. We're looking forward to many more discussions and looking forward to the growth that you all have right here in our great state. So with that, we will wrap this up and we will ask all the speakers to come forward for some pictures. Thank you.